Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is BDF44. Thank you for clicking on my face as always. I want to extend you all a great day before I even get started on this conversation. So please enjoy yourselves, take care of yourselves, and all that good stuff. Okay, so the conversation today, once again, it's another heavy one, but it's not racially charged in this case at all. I just want to talk about men and women and how we're supposed to act toward one another when it gets to a point where we have to defend ourselves. Um, I don't want to exclude anybody. I'm using the phrases men and women, but I want to incorporate this focus mostly on men when they find themselves in situations where women are attacking them. My opinion on this has evolved some in the past, and mind you, my mother always felt the way I feel now. I didn't always agree, but I do now. Um, in the past, it was basically one of those things where it's like, look, I'm going to try to avoid any confrontation with women that would get physical. If it were to get physical, I'm using shove techniques and judo, defensive techniques of some sort to try to use her energy against her rather than striking her with a fist or kicking or, you know, wailing like a grown man does on his own, or to another grown man. But as I've gotten older and I look at some of these things that are going on in the world, and I understand certain scenarios and how they come about. Every scenario is different. Every situation has its own way to look at it. So I'm not lumping in all circumstances, but just for example, let's say I'm in a grocery store and some type of verbal interaction takes place. It gets bad. She swings at me and connects. At that point, I'm in a fight. That ain't how I always felt. In the past, I'm like, yo, if it's a woman, she swings at you, she hits you, you try to do something other than swing back. But at this point, after seeing the video footage that I just saw of a male getting into it with one female, but he wasn't necessarily trying to initiate contact. She was, and her friends were all around, basically telling him that he bet not swing back at her as she's advancing toward him and swinging left and right. Now, as far as I'm concerned, as I see it, he had every right to defend himself. But he held strong. He's a better man than I am. And he did not swing back not one time. He kept his hands up like she was pointing a gun at him and kept stepping backwards, trying to rotate away from her to avoid punches. And he kept explaining to her friends verbally while she's swinging at him that he had no intention of hitting her, that he doesn't have no beef with her and he doesn't want any issues. And that he will not strike back because he doesn't hit women and he stands on that. And he was just displaying a great sense of character. I think for what I want to stand for, I would like to think if it comes to that and I'm not getting hit, if I'm able to avoid punches, then I should still pride myself on not swinging at a woman. But if I'm getting beat up, my thing is this. I reserve the right to not be a punching bag for a woman. For man, for certain, but I'm gonna swing back at a man. That's a different story. But a woman, I reserve the right to not be a punching bag. I do not claim responsibility for being the vessel for which she's supposed to take her frustration out. And if it's a situation where I've earned it, then I'll look at it as I've earned it. If I'm out here cheating on my wife and she catches me and she decides to beat me up, I don't think that that's the same situation. I don't think that's the same. I don't think I deserve the right to defend myself in that case, depending on the type of attack that's coming my way. Now, if she's swinging at me with a gun and a knife or something like that, I gotta just fly. It's fight or flight. You gotta save your life. But you cheating. You did some bad stuff. You broke her heart. You did some awful stuff, embezzle money or something like that. She come attack you. That's a different story in my mind. You probably deserve the ass whooping, and that'll be the end of that opinion from me. But like just in a situation, let's say if it's a racist individual attacking somebody or some bullshit, who knows, whatever it is. But if it's just a situation where it's two strangers or if it's somebody attacking you for reasons that you don't deserve to be attacked for, and she's starting to get the best of you, you got to defend yourself. You can't just sit there and just take hits. So that's my opinion on that. My mother raised me with that opinion from the beginning. She was always of the mindset of you don't hit a woman, but if she's hitting you, you need to defend yourself. Don't come back in this house beat up because you refuse to hit a woman. You know, that was how I was raised. Like, you don't initiate no fight, but you don't let nobody just be no punching bag. You don't let her take off on you like that. You don't do that. A woman will sometimes do that because she feels protected by a man's morals, and that in and of itself is poor character. She's displaying a sense of safety that she won't extend to you. In other words, she's weaponizing her womanhood as a means of attacking you, and that is wrong. It's no different than anybody weaponizing any other strength they have over someone else. You know, the notion that you won't hit her puts her in a position to bully you, and that's something you have control over, whether it appears you do or not, fellas. So we got to protect ourselves in those situations. And at the same time, I think it's responsible for me to say, don't start picking no fights with no woman. Don't swing at her and then she swings back and think, well, yeah, you know, Brandon, BDF said that's how we know. No, this is when you're defending yourself and you losing the fight. This ain't a situation where you need to swing with a closed fist if she hits you with an open fist. You know, use some discretion, use your common sense, and do not use what I'm saying as a means to going around pushing out bad energy into women. I'm not asking you to do that. In fact, I'm asking you not to do that. I don't respect that at all. And you shouldn't respect it if it came from me. You know, at the end of the day, we hold ourselves accountable for that. We're men. We have the earth at our fingertips. All of this is for us to conquer and inherit at the end of the day. I know that we're in a space where it's very important that we respect women's rights and respect all that the equality, the lack of equality that we have. And that's something I acknowledge and support and have said I support and want to see women succeed in every single possible way, independent of my opinion, input, or whatnot, if that's what's required. I'm looking at it more so from an animalistic standpoint as to where a male in all forms of animals, or at least most forms, not all, but most forms of animals, tend to take on the superior role in terms of I'm the protector, I'm the provider, and stuff goes through me. You know what I mean? And that's how I'm looking at it. If that's the circumstance, if that's the dynamic, then you hold the responsibility as the stronger party to not initiate physical contact, in my opinion. And that's what we need to do. We need to make sure that we are responsible and defend ourselves in that same breath. That's what I got to say, man. That's my opinion. You know, like I said, every situation is nuanced. Every situation has its own specific way to go, and we all have to use our brains out here. So don't let yourself get beat up, people. My name is BDF44, and I'm out.